Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. In Great Expectations, Miss Havisham stopped all the clocks in her home at the time she believed that her life stopped, even though it was years before her life actually ended. Similarly, there's a calendar from 2011 taped to the closet door of my childhood bedroom. It's hanging on December, and when I go home and see it, I feel bad and sentimental and comforted. When asked, it's the only thing from my childhood home that I won't let anyone touch or take down. Doing so would free me of a burden that I like and deserve. There are clothes in my room that I'd never wear, but they are all I have left of some of the best and worst people I've ever known. They are all of the nights that rolled into days that rolled into nights again. They are the heat trapped in the driveway at the end of the day. They are a wrong turn that landed us 2 hours northwest before we could afford a GPS. They are crying on a basement floor. They are melting in a doorway. They are a lake and a highway and someone else's private golf course in the middle of the night. They are the tallest hill in the town where I grew up. They're all I have left, and they're a burden I carry from 2,000 miles away. For years, I've loved coming home to my childhood bedroom. It's a time capsule, a perfectly preserved tomb. It's the parts that aren't left of me ready to be poked and prodded and cataloged or left alone entirely. For a long time, I thought this faraway burden was my own, but now I know that's selfish. For years, my mom has asked me to clear out her space, give her room to breathe, and I want to do that for her, and I want to do that for me. So I booked a flight home to Marie Kondo the shorts off my childhood bedroom. And I'm recording it to preserve the memory in one small digital place. To revisit if needed, or to forget entirely.
Okay.
Super funny, really smart. Just want to, sometimes you meet somebody and you're like, oh yeah, yep, your brain conversation. I will, you know what we'll do?
I've thought about doing this for a long time. Back in May of 2015, I wrote a journal entry about how good it'd probably feel. Here's what it said. When I moved out of my parents' house, it wasn't a clean break. I didn't even pack a bag. For a long time, I bought 2 sets of everything. 2 toothbrushes, 2 computers. I kept them separate and had to clarify states when I talked about my home. The first winter I lived like this, my dad pressed plastic to the windows of my north-facing bedroom like he did every winter. I wasn't there to peel it off in the spring, and by summer it seemed too late anyway. Each time I came back, I found it concealed in time and insulation, preserved like a tomb. Records hold up the walls in my closet. A series of posters, pictures, and show flyers layer like decades of paint on the back of my door. It's not hard to find notes from people I don't know who have wives and estranged husbands and children now. On a shelf, there are stacks of books that weigh more than me, with dog-eared pages, shaky pencil lines, and misremembered plots. For 3 years, I've come back here taking bits with me when I leave. My dresser drawers are a skeleton crew, and I dress like it's laundry day whenever I spend the night. Even so, when I'm here, I move about my room as if trying not to disturb a crime scene. I sleep on top of my already made bed, and I don't change the channel on the TV if I turn it on. A calendar on my wall displays the dates from December of 2011 when I ran out of pages to turn. When I'm here alone, I don't sleep. This is my body's homage to the last decade spent this way. At night, I lay awake or roam. I trace the grooves in my headboard. I drink water over the kitchen sink. I feel exactly where my heart sits in my chest. I lay the wrong way in bed and wait. I think about it often, how quickly it could be done. I'd pull my collar over my nose and pull curtains and clothes, separate plastics from aluminum from landfill. I'd bend and drag furniture, clear the walls and line the carpets with plastic. I think about the paint and the layers it would take. I feel the weight of years and things and people lift all at once, like hot water running out. I think about clarifying what I mean when I call it my home. I think about how easy it'd be to leave it now. To Marie Kondo your childhood bedroom, it's important to take everything out. To look at the weight of all of it at the same time, to detach from your nostalgia, and to donate the bulk of it to someone who'd give new life to it.
There's no better place to show off your work and attract new clients than with a Squarespace website. Using the new Design Intelligence feature on Squarespace makes the process of starting from scratch super fast and simple. You don't know where to start with filling out the content of your site? Design Intelligence gives you a huge head start. You can then try out different color themes and fonts and instantly see how your site will look. Or you can get started with a wide variety of professionally designed website templates and then make it your own. And when you're ready to book clients, you can easily create professional proposals, estimates, and contracts to make it all official. You can then invoice your clients and accept payments from ACH Direct Debit, Klarna, Apple Pay, and more. Head to squarespace.com/MangoStreet for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the code MangoStreet at checkout to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain.